This morning, I heard the fools in Washington babbling again about their magnificent victories in the Middle East. The mainstream media is trying to sell you a fairy tale. They claim American and Israeli air power has crushed Tehran. This stupidity is staggering. Let's be frank. 2 weeks after the extraordinary display of firepower, what do we actually have? Iran is strangling the Strait of Hormuz. The most vital waterway for the global economy is locked down. It is completely fractured. The children at the Pentagon and the neocons think they are masters of the universe. They forget physics. They ignore geography. Geography dictates everything. The Strait of Hormuz is roughly 20 miles wide at its narrowest point. It skirts right along Iran's southern border. 20 miles. You cannot herd cats in Washington, and you certainly cannot control a narrow strait littered with naval mines without ground forces. Mojtaba Khamenei, the new supreme leader of Iran, made it absolutely clear. The lever of closing this strait will continue to be used. That is a brutal reality. Before this asinine war began, a fifth of the world's oil passed through this deadly choke point. Arrogance always has a price. Iran is demonstrating that even in a weakened state, they can inflict catastrophic economic and military damage on the United States. It is a meat grinder. The Uniparty wants to pretend otherwise, but the geography remains, the physics remain, and we are failing. Look at the economic catastrophe. Oil futures have settled above $100 a barrel. It surged from $70 before the war. Mr. Trump promised that oil prices would drop rapidly once the Iranian nuclear threat was destroyed. Delusional, completely delusional. What is the harsh truth? Energy Secretary Chris Wright admitted on national television that the United States Navy is not ready to escort commercial tankers. Of course they are not ready. He even refused to rule out the possibility of $200 oil. Do you know who prepared for this disaster? Not America, China. Beijing protected itself before the conflict by increasing its massive oil stockpiles. Their imports jumped nearly 16% in January and February. They have roughly 1.2 billion barrels sitting in strategic reserves. That is 115 days of seaborne crude imports. The globalists and the Uniparty in Washington pushed us over the cliff. Military analysts used to parrot the conventional wisdom that Tehran would never close the strait because they needed to export their own oil. Wrong. Since March 1st, at least 10 tankers and gas carriers have left Iran and sailed right through the strait, all of them fully loaded. They are getting their oil out while blocking ours. It is a brilliant asymmetrical trap. Let's talk about the brutal mathematics of asymmetric warfare. The Pentagon boasts that Central Command attacked 30 mine-laying vessels. 30 vessels. Does that sound like a victory? It is laughable. The Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps has hundreds, if not thousands, of smaller boats conducting mining operations. Iran combines naval mines, submarines, unmanned watercraft, and land-based artillery to completely paralyze traffic. You want to use multi-million-dollar F-35 fighters to hunt down cheap speedboats. We will run out of precision munitions long before they run out of fiberglass hulls. The lunatics inside the Beltway love to cite 1988. They point to the Reagan administration reflagging Kuwaiti tankers and providing naval escorts. They think we can simply repeat history. No, the conditions of this current war are entirely different. You cannot extrapolate from that era to this one. Iran is infinitely more dangerous now. The shipping norms have changed. Corporations are completely unwilling to risk their billion-dollar assets in a deadly kill zone. Conducting a weeks-long mine-clearing operation in the Strait of Hormuz will throw American sailors directly into harm's way. It is a logistical nightmare. It will drain our warships away from their offensive missions. This is exactly what happened during Vietnam, a foolish escalation with no strategic end state. You cannot bomb your way out of a geographical reality. The Pentagon claims we need several more days of an air campaign to destroy mobile launchers and fast boats before escorting ships. It is meaningless. Retired Air Force Lieutenant General Clinton Hinote is absolutely right. The Strait of Hormuz is an almost impossible problem to solve through military means alone. His team studied this extensively. Advanced sensors and precision strikes can only mitigate the attacks. They cannot stop them completely. The shipping lanes are simply too narrow. The vessels are massive, slow, and totally vulnerable to swarms of small craft and anti-ship missiles. What is the brutal truth? The only way to guarantee that waterway stays open is to move from mitigation to absolute control. And militarily, that requires large numbers of ground forces to seize and hold the Iranian coastline. Are we ready to feed thousands of American boys into a suicidal amphibious assault? Absolutely not. Look at the Red Sea. The Houthis use cheap drones and missiles to disrupt maritime commerce. Our costly military campaign last year to stop them was a harbinger of this exact catastrophic failure. You cannot rely on air and naval power to secure narrow waterways in the Middle East. It is a giant meat grinder. The mathematics do not lie. We do not have the industrial capacity to sustain this. The geopolitical fallout from this arrogance is the final fatal blow. Look at our closest Arab allies in the Gulf, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates. They are staring at this catastrophe and realizing a bitter truth. America has a massive military, but we lack strategic focus and reliability. Do you think they will continue to cling to the illusory protection of a disintegrating maritime empire? Never. The geopolitical aftershocks are forcing these Gulf countries to seek a more permanent, pragmatic arrangement for the Strait of Hormuz. And that means they will have to shake hands with Iran. Yes, even if Tehran remains adversarial to Washington, these Arab states will rebuild ties to save their own economies. They will systematically reduce their dependence on American security. The United States is digging its own grave. What is the end state? There is no permanent military solution. The only lasting solution is diplomatic. We must pull our carrier strike groups back. We must focus on our actual physical borders. Do not throw American sons and daughters into the fire just to enrich the defense contractors and the neocon donors. It is finished. Washington's hegemonic power is fractured beyond repair. I repeat, it is over.